How do we start?
How are you liking the MCM Expo?
Love it. London is absolutely one of my favorite cities I've ever been to, and any chance I get to come back here, I would come help the construction for the new bike paths if they paid me enough. No, and it's been great. I mean, I'm kind of new to the whole convention experience. I've done a few in Tampa, Florida, and Toronto was one of my first bigger ones this past year. And when I was invited here, this was, don't even hesitate. Absolutely, it's brilliant. It's clearly some of the most polite people in the convention world. I had more. I'm so sorry to take up your time. Sorry about that. Please don't be.
What?
There's been a lot of talk recently in the video games industry about voice actors and the sort of the various things going on in terms of what you get rewarded with as a voice actor in the video games industry. Are you aware of the stuff that's been going on with that, and what's your opinion on the sort of video game voice actor discussions at the moment?
You're referring to the potential strike?
The potential strike action, yes.
I got to be honest with you. I don't have too much of an opinion yet, because from what I understand, actors, the representatives for the actors, went in and said, we want this, and before the producer, and the producer said, well, no, we're not talking that. There haven't been any negotiations, and a lot of people, I think, don't understand that. I stay away from that kind of thing because it's just not my cup of tea, and I think I don't agree with necessarily I've heard sentiments from both sides, and the producers have never told us, I don't know what they're offering, because they were never given the chance to offer that. So there's never been any negotiations. The only thing that happened recently was actors took a vote to give the right to strike. Which, because I don't know the facts, I abstained from. I didn't vote one way or the other. I don't think anybody wants a strike. I think that there's talks of residuals, and nobody has presented me or shown me any formula that works in the gaming industry for any type of residual process. I know in film and television, when a movie replays in another time, residuals are owed, but there's new sets of advertising around that showing, and there's a formula that they can work out, and they're not even calling this a residual, they're calling it bonuses. And I've heard some of the actors get on this thing with performance matters, which I agree with. Performance does matter, but I've talked to a bunch of producers that I work with, and they agree performance matters, but they will say so does programming, so does design, so does art, so does directing, so does the sound, music, all the elements that come together in a game. And those people don't have a union saying we're going to strike. And I think it's a very difficult argument right now. And I'd like more information before I make up my mind one way or the other. There's all kinds of rhetoric and people Twitter and shouting different things. I don't feel slighted in any way by the industry. I feel like they respect what I do. I feel like I'm compensated at this point. But again, I don't have all the facts, so I can't really speak to who's right, who's wrong, and what's going to happen.
Okay, thank you.
I hope there's no stoppage in work, though, and I think everybody does.
Going.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Hello.
You're next.
Obviously, you're known for so much more than Drake. But what's it like to say goodbye to the character that you're so well known for?
Oh wow! We recently had our last day of the actual performance capture day, and yeah, it was tough. It was a bit emotional. This character came to me about 10 years ago, and if as an actor, I never really set out to obviously not to set out, I'm going to be a voice in games, because there were not many voicing games, So when it came to me, though, this would be, I guess, if you can pinpoint any actor's break, this would be it, And when Amy Hennig, who created the character and the whole world, invited me to come along, she was very collaborative, and she required of me to put as much of myself into the character as possible. So when you do that, and then you see this thing just explode all over the world, I'll put it this way: my parents are tickled. They had no idea. It's funny because I'm from just outside Boston, and then Rhode Island. I grew up in Rhode Island, and it's the smallest state in America, and little place, and and oddly enough, Sullivan, Richard McGonigal was from Maine, so Sullivan, we're New England boys. Nobody cares. I just never got to say that in front of 3 microphones. But yeah, no, it's been, the end was bittersweet. I assume it's the end, but you never know. Sony could order another one, I suppose, but I don't know. I think this is it's fitting, and if we keep going, I might have to play Sully soon. You had a question.
Oh yeah, sure.
I can hear you.
You can hear. Yeah, I think this is redundant
Yeah.
at this point. I guess obviously, you've already spoken about the extent to which the industry is changing, it's evolving. I guess the question that a lot of fans here today will have is, what advice would you give them about entering the industry and how to go about that?
Entering the
Voice acting.
in voice acting.
Yeah.
People always ask, they say, how do you become a voice actor? And I'm not just a voice actor, and I tell people, you have to be an actor. Some people can have great dialects and voices, and go up really high, and really low. You can do all kinds of different crazy things, but you have to be able to act with those and perform with those. So, and to say, well, I'm just a voice actor would be like, well, I'm a plumber who just does kitchens. Well, I'll pay you to do the bathrooms. I don't know, just kitchens. And sinks. I don't want to do anything but sinks. It's like, why limit yourself? The advice that I give people on anything is just learn the craft, respect it, and don't get into it to become rich, certainly, or famous, or anything like that. I've spent more of my life broke than I have, the other way. So, getting better, I will say that. Things are getting much, much better. But I think it's important that most parents don't like to hear this, but when people want to be an actor, or any profession, you just commit to it. I hear too many people saying, "Well, I'm going to do it, but I'm also doing. This is my backup plan." It's like, you're not committed. I know people don't like to hear this, especially parents, and I'm a parent. So if my son says it, I'll lock him in his room. But there's no plan B sometimes. You just go for it, and you just do it, and be open to change in the way your career or your life takes you. I never wanted to be an actor. This wasn't the dream. I wanted to be a professional baseball player, and when my shoulder gave out, and that was kind of the end of that, I was going to be a journalist, and I was a journalist I went to graduate school in Boston, and then was a reporter for a year, and I hated it. I covered more murders and house fires and things like that. It just, and then somehow just led to, I did another play and stand up, and just the river kind of took you, and here we are. Here we are almost 20 years later. It's,
Do we have any final
Can I-
questions?
I'll be quicker with questions. I can hear them. It's okay.
As a gamer, and in regards to The Last of Us, and obviously you play David and whatnot, what is your feeling about the ending of that game? The ambiguous nature of the ending of that game. Joel and Ellie, where are they gonna end up? Do you think?
Oh, I have no idea. I have a hatchet. I have a machete in my head, so I really don't know. I think wherever it ends up, the game is well written. It's well done, and if they do another one, who knows where it could go. But I think anytime a game ends like that, it leaves people wanting more. It's like a good comedian. He'll always end on a strong joke and then walk off. You want him back. You don't want him to leave, but that's on purpose because you want more. So that game's like was well done to finish up like that. You know, it's because you're always going to want more. Yes.
If the Uncharted movie ever gets into production, would you play on the big screen?
There's no way the business of Hollywood would ever let me play.
But not Mark Wahlberg.
Well, you know what? I don't have any say in any of that stuff. You know, the one thing I said is absolutely I would, you know, but they gotta hurry because, you know, gotta get back. You know, I think I said this earlier, and people are kind of upset, but you know, I don't know if that movie makes sense anymore. I mean, this game is so cinematic, and whereas Assassin's Creed is taking a different spin on what that world constructed, which could be very interesting. Most of the scripts that I've heard about, at least, basically would redo what was in the game and just kind of go along that way. And I don't I don't think that would work. And it's going to be very difficult for people. People are emotionally invested in Nathan Drake. You play as him. We've done it for a decade. People are anticipating Uncharted 4. It's one of the few characters that they've allowed to age with its audience, and you are emotionally invested. It's real quick. I know we're a bit busy, but it's very similar to why I didn't think the 50 Shades of Grey movie would work very well. And stay with me. I know this is crazy. Of course, he's just Bruce Wayne with different kinds of toys. Every person, every woman or man for that matter that read those books had their own emotional tie to that character, had their own vision of who their Christian Grey was. Race, color, age, doesn't matter. Race, color, those are the same things. I have jet lag. Race, age, height, weight, everything. Every woman had their vision of Christian Grey. When you cast him, you're alienating a large amount of people from their emotional investment. And they may go see the movie, but they're not going to have that same emotional investment. I think that's very similar to what would happen with Drake and Elena and Sully. You've heard the people who go see this would be like, hear that movie. They hear those voices in their head, and I don't know if they would. I don't know if they would. I'm sure it would do well, but you're never going to have another Indiana Jones. Yeah. Let's face it. Not in the film medium. And I just heard that they may actually try to do a remake of Indiana Jones. So why try to do? Now you're going to be. You're always going to play second fiddle. Yeah. So. So what does that mean? Hollywood goes, is there money to be made here? I don't know if there is. I could be incredibly wrong. I haven't slept since Thursday.
You're doing well.
It's Saturday. No, but the truth is, it's I think there's an emotional investment that gamers we get to our characters, and that's that.
Thank you.
And they're just everybody's just kind of doing this.